What if I told you that beneath one of Earth's most surreal landscapes lies the ghost of a massive prehistoric lake, and that the locals whisper of something far more mysterious lurking in the surrounding wilderness? Welcome to the extraordinary story of Salar de Uyuni, where ancient waters once covered an area larger than Connecticut, and where modern urban explorers venture to witness both natural majesty and encounter unexplained phenomena. Deep in the heart of Bolivia's Altiplano, at an elevation of 12,000 feet above sea level, stretches the world's largest salt flat. But Salar de Uyuni wasn't always the blindingly white expanse we see today. 40,000 years ago, this entire region was submerged beneath Lake Minchin, a prehistoric giant that covered over 23,000 square miles of what is now southwestern Bolivia. Picture this ancient lake system, fed by rivers cascading down from the surrounding Andes Mountains. The water was so vast, it could have swallowed modern cities whole. Lake Minchin was deeper than a 30-story building is tall, with crystal clear waters reflecting the endless Altiplano sky. Fish swam where tourists now take perspective-bending photographs, and ancient shorelines marked territories that would later become some of Bolivia's most remote settlements. As climate patterns shifted and the Andes continued their geological dance, something remarkable happened. The lake began its slow retreat, leaving behind concentrated brine pools that would eventually crystallize into the salt desert we know today. This wasn't a quick process. It took thousands of years for Lake Minchin to completely evaporate, leaving behind over 10 billion tons of salt spread across 4,000 square miles. Today, the nearest urban center to this prehistoric lakebed is the small city of Uyuni. Population barely 30,000, which serves as the gateway for over 300,000 annual visitors. The town itself is a fascinating study in adaptation, built entirely around the salt flat tourism industry. Every hotel, restaurant, and tour operator exists because of this ancient lake's legacy. But here's where the story takes an intriguing turn. Local guides and urban explorers who venture into the region's surrounding forests and highland areas have reported encounters with something they call the dogman. These aren't your typical tourist tales. The dogman legend speaks of a bipedal creature standing 7 to 8 feet tall, covered in dark fur, with distinctly canine features, but walking upright like a human. The connection between the prehistoric lake and these modern sightings isn't coincidental. Indigenous Quechua and Aymara communities have oral traditions dating back centuries, long before European contact, describing guardian spirits that emerged from the waters as the great lake receded. These spirits, they say, took refuge in the quinoa forests and highland valleys surrounding the salt flat, protecting the sacred landscape from those who would disturb its balance. Urban explorers from nearby cities like La Paz and Sucre have documented dozens of encounters over the past decade. Unlike typical cryptid sightings, these reports share remarkably consistent details. Witnesses describe a creature that moves with purpose through the sparse vegetation, often seen at dawn or dusk, when the salt flat's surface creates optical illusions that bend reality itself. The geography of the region makes these encounters particularly compelling. The salt flat sits in a basin surrounded by volcanic peaks and ancient terraces where the prehistoric lake's shorelines are still visible. These elevated areas, covered in patches of native forest, create perfect corridors for any large creature to move unseen between the populated areas and the vast emptiness of the salt desert. Scientists studying the region's ecology have noted that the unique environment created by the evaporated lake support species found nowhere else on Earth. The high altitude, extreme temperature variations, and mineral-rich soil create evolutionary pressures that could theoretically support undiscovered large mammals. The nearest research station is in Colchani, a salt harvesting village built directly on the prehistoric lakebed. What makes the Dogman phenomenon particularly fascinating is how it intersects with modern urban exploration culture. Adventure tourists equipped with high-tech cameras and GPS devices are documenting experiences that align perfectly with ancient indigenous knowledge. Social media has transformed these remote encounters into global phenomena, with hashtags like Salar Mystery trending among cryptozoology enthusiasts. The salt flat itself provides crucial context for understanding these sightings. During the dry season, the crystallized remains of Lake Minchin create a mirror-like surface, so perfect it's used to calibrate satellites. This natural mirror effect can create visual distortions that make distant objects appear closer or larger than they actually are. However, the Dogman sightings typically occur in the forested highlands, not on the flat itself. Local tourism operators in Uyuni have embraced the mystery, offering specialized night tour that combines stargazing with cryptid hunting. These tours take visitors to elevated viewpoints, where they can simultaneously appreciate the prehistoric lake's former boundaries and scan the horizon for unusual movement. The economic impact has been significant, with mystery tourism adding an estimated $2 million annually to the local economy. The prehistoric lake's mineral legacy continues to shape modern life in the region. Salar de Uyuni contains over half the world's lithium reserves, making it crucial for electric vehicle battery production. Mining operations extract these ancient lake minerals, while workers report their own encounters with the mysterious forest dweller. The intersection of cutting-edge technology and ancient mysteries creates a uniquely modern folklore. Photographers and filmmakers drawn to the salt flats' otherworldly beauty often extend their stays to investigate the dogman phenomenon. The contrast between the stark, lifeless appearance of the evaporated lakebed and the reported vitality of the surrounding wilderness creates compelling narrative tension. Many describe feeling watched while capturing sunrise shots from the elevated viewing areas. The seasonal flooding that occurs during Bolivia's wet season provides another connection to the region's prehistoric past. When rainwater covers the salt flat, it temporarily recreates a shallow version of ancient Lake Minchin. During these flooding periods, dogman sightings increase dramatically, as if the returning waters awaken something dormant in the surrounding landscape. Climate scientists studying core samples from the salt flat have discovered that Lake Minchin underwent several cycles of filling and emptying over tens of thousands of years. Each cycle left distinct geological signatures that tell the story of changing weather patterns and ecological adaptations. These same adaptation pressures that shaped the prehistoric environment continue to influence the region's wildlife today. The urban centers that have grown around the salt flat tourism industry represent humanity's attempt to make sense of this vast, empty landscape. Towns like Colchani and Kakwesa exist as modern interpretations of ancient settlements that once thrived along Lake Minchin's shores. Archaeological evidence suggests continuous human habitation in the region for over 3,000 years. As you stand on the edge of Salar de Uyuni today, you're witnessing the final chapter of a 40,000-year geological story. The prehistoric lake that once teemed with life has been transformed into Earth's largest mirror, reflecting both the sky above and the mysteries that surround it. Whether the dogman represents an undiscovered species, a cultural memory of the lake's ancient guardians, or simply the human need to populate empty spaces with meaning. One thing remains certain. Some wonders are too vast and too mysterious for simple explanations. In a world where urban development increasingly dominates natural landscapes, places like Salar de Uyuni remind us that some mysteries are worth preserving. And sometimes the most profound urban wonders are the ones that show us how small we really are in the face of deep time and endless possibility.